I can't even believe I'm recording myself with this hair. In line for a cup of coffee here in Alaska. Can't remember the name of it. Probably should have had that information before I started recording. And if I had an intro, it would go right here. It's my second day here in Alaska. Starting it out, I have a whole list of places I'm going to hit today. A lot of local parks on the one side of kind of Anchorage. Then I'm going up into the hills. There's an Eagle, I think it's Eagle Recreational and something. And then there's another small little hike I want to go on. And then down, there's a really large animal sanctuary of sorts. And then I think eventually making it down to Hope, which is pretty far away, maybe an hour and a half from there. So there's a lot of stuff to pack in for the day. I was out really late last night, and we have some clouds again in the sky, which is nice because I'm not freaking out that I'm out there chasing the best light, because you know the clouds kind of help soften the light throughout the day. So for photography, it's something that's kind of a good thing. I'm staying in this Airbnb, and I like it because it's kind of what Airbnb used to be, and kind of still is, but there's some parts of the country where it became very commercial, very corporate, where they would buy a bunch of homes or whatever with the intent of Airbnb-ing them, kind of like a large corporation having a hotel. I'm experiencing, just the entrepreneurialness of somebody in a middle-class neighborhood that's decided to, rent their room out. They kind of, I guess, close some things off, and they have an outside room. I'm not sure how the whole house is designed, but I have my own entrance, and it's, they decided to rent out part of their house. And that's, I think, how Airbnb really started in the first place. So it's kind of nice to help out somebody instead of a large corporation. That's just my opening thoughts. I'm going to discover some stuff today. Today's word, actually this year's word, is discovery. And we're going to discover some more stuff today. God, I'm 3 minutes in. What have I said? 4 minutes in. Still in this line for coffee. And I totally don't mind. I was just thinking that, there's two sides to what I'm doing here. When I used to go off on my little journeys, I would be out maybe 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I would feel very stressed to acquire not only content, but photography, because I was going out to photograph stuff. I don't want to label myself as a landscape photographer, but as I was out, I was photographing landscapes. So I was always chasing the light and always stressing out that I wasn't getting, piles of images. And I'm just realizing right now, I'm not stressed out about that at all. And I'm in probably one of the most scenic places I'll be in this year. So one would think that would be stressing me out. I might in a couple of days when I realize I haven't captured that much, but we'll see. I started thinking about this thing I talked about before. It would be cool to interview one person in every state. And although I do think that still, it's not going to happen. It's definitely not going to happen. But as I get through this year and finish this year off, I realize that if that's something I want to do, the trick to this is having a fixer, and having a production team or a producer or a PA or somebody that lines this up for you. I'm going to be in Anchorage for 3 days. Line up 3 or 4 people that we can go out and interview. I come out here with a really bare bones setup and have a list of pre-trip questions that I send out. I really want to tell the stories of small town USA a little bit more in some sort of a series. I just can't marry that series with this project that I have of dipping my toes into all 50 states in 1 year, because it's just too much. So I've kind of shelved that idea. But if I come up with an interview here or there along the way, I'll certainly embrace that, because I think it will give me some practice. I really need my coffee. Alright, so before we head off exploring, this is my place I'm staying up here, up the stairs. And my rental car. Anyway, this is the backyard, and what I noticed, there's another street that runs this way up the hill. On the other side of that are some amazing views of mountains. I'm gonna just kind of go around the corner and hold the Osmo out and show you. They have some front row seating for some amazing mountain action. I like this neighborhood. It's a working class neighborhood. I feel safe here. Around the corner there's a bunch of apartments and just a neighborhood, you know. It beats paying $500 a night for a hotel downtown that I didn't like anyway. I didn't really like the feel of it down there. If it was a harbor or a creative place to hang out, it's a different story, but I don't want to be there anyway. All right, let's go see some nature. I just came down the road and made a right, and that's the view of the mountains right there, which is pretty cool. So we're turning on this road right now. We're gonna head into town and explore a couple of parks real quick. Oh my gosh, look at the light. Check this out. Should self-publish a coffee table book one day called Images from the Car, because I literally have terabytes of bad images. Well, they're not bad images, they're just images. Photographed from the car. So I came to a park here. Wallensoff Park something. It's kind of cool, man. I've been watching planes land. Some people way up in the hill. There's a bike path that goes all around here. And again, this is one of a couple of parks I'm going to hit. But I think I'm going to wait for one more plane. I'm not sure why. It's kind of cool. This would be a fantastic place to bike ride. I think you can rent them here somewhere. Where's the planes? That looks like a fun landing. That may be slightly more interesting for me because I'm here, but if you're in Alaska, in Anchorage, it's kind of a cool place to check out. These are the kind of planes that land here. Check this out. So off in the distance back here is Anchorage, downtown Anchorage. Those mountains, I believe, off that way, where I'm heading next, I think. And again, I have no idea. And by next, I mean tomorrow. Because I'm basically exploring the area of Anchorage today, still. 2 more parks to go. A little perspective of the size of Alaska. Wow. Off in the distance you can hear the chirping of a bird that I do not know the name of. I proudly admit that I'm the expert of none of this. I'm just here to take you along for the ride. Again, maybe drop a few breadcrumbs. Pique your interest. You might want to visit here someday. Anchorage, Alaska. I still can't believe I'm in Alaska. I'm not sure why. I mean, I've been to Iceland, I've been to all parts of Europe, Switzerland, whatnot, and here comes a couple walking. So, we might be in for a surprise. I just ran into a couple around the corner that said that they had saw a moose down here at the base of this path. So, we tread quietly. And hopefully we're going to see a moose down here. I, like an idiot, asked them if there were any bear around here. They said, no, we don't think there's any bear. Not to sound too much like an alarmist, but the other day I actually saw an article about somebody recently here in Alaska, I think it was, that got hoofed to death by a mother moose. I guess he got too close trying to get the shot to the baby, and he was quite literally hoofed to death. I've never heard of that before. I have that in mind as I'm down here by myself, wandering around looking for a moose that two complete strangers told me about. I'm gonna go 50-50 on this bet. I can remember once I was with my daughter. We were in a place called Ding Darling Preserve, and it's a place with birds over on the west coast of Florida. And I can remember how serious these people seem to be about their birding, if you would. And we pulled up by one area where a bunch of birders were, and it was like a lookout area. And I wound down the window. My daughter was in the passenger seat, and I spoke over her, hoping to embarrass her, actually. Yelled out to the people, I'm like, there was a yellow-bellied, red-breasted nuthatch around the corner or something. I made up a bird name, which was really a kind of an amalgamation of a bunch of bird names together. They kind of looked at me like, oh, really? My daughter's like, did you just make that up? I'm like, yeah, pretty much. I'm thinking that this couple on this path up here might have seen me with this camera and said, hey, there's a moose down there around the corner. I just met a couple on the trail, and they're actually from Pennsylvania. They told me that they have seen more bear and moose along the road since they've been here than they saw in Denali, which is where I'm headed next. I love the mystery of this all. Oh, there's the moose. It's between me and my car. It's on the path. I swear to God, I just saw the moose, and I'm walking slowly because I hope to get him. Not get him, but see him. Maybe capture him. A moose. This thing was huge. A moose. Walking slowly to hopefully make visual contact with this beast, otherwise known as the moose. I'm reminded of the man that got hoofed to death. What the hell would I do? I have nothing here. Is there such a thing as moose spray? Mike, get a grip. He's probably waiting for me. He's like, I think I just saw a man in a green jacket. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's looking at me. Oh, that was really weird. He was off in the trees. All I saw were his big ears peeking over the trees. Yeah, I'm not that man that I read about. I will not. Maybe if I hadn't heard of that, I probably would have gone in after to get a closer shot. I'd be like, hey, it's a moose. What's he gonna do? How exciting is that? Probably not very for you because you didn't see him. Yeah, a park like this makes you think, you know? One minute you're here, next minute you're in a 90-second earthquake. Apparently this earthquake happened the year of my birth, which is relevant because we are in the middle of 50 at 60, hitting all 50 states the year I turned 60, and that was 1964, 60 years ago. And here's a tour bus. I want to go find this moose. Well, I'm glad I recorded the clip with my cell phone because I thought I had recorded when I pulled off to the side of the road and I actually saw the moose from the road. And I thought I was recording with the Osmo, but apparently then I hit stop and I put it down on the seat, and that's when the recording started. So I have a nice 8-minute clip of my car seat. I'm pretty sure I have some video. A moose, how about that, huh? I mean, sorry if I sound too excited about this, but a moose. If I see a bear today, I mean, my Alaska trip is complete. I could leave early. Well, there he is. In the safety of my car, pulled off to the side of the road. And there is Mr. Moose. A moose! Off to the next park. It's called Resolution Park, I think. Or something or other. 2 more parks before we get out of Anchorage and go do some more exploring. Captain James Cook. It's an excessive amount of viewing area. And I'm the only one here. It's like a really low tide. I guess that's where the commercial stuff happens. And I'm really bored with this park. All right, next. Apparently it's a big hit here because the bus takes you there. Hence the need for the big viewing area. By the way, this is right next door to a restaurant I ate at last night called Simon and Seaforts. If you happen to be watching this video and you happen to be in Anchorage, I can't recommend that place enough. The guy told me it's been here for 50 years. And, well, parts of it look like it, but it's really a beautiful place to have dinner with an amazing view. I had a really nice view of a long sunset. Shot some, some iPhone stills. I'll pop them in here maybe as I'm speaking. And I don't think it was a special. It's a staple there. The halibut cheeks. Oh my gosh, it was so good. It was like did I talk about it yesterday? Yeah, I did. It wasn't a flaky fish. It was more of a textured fish, kind of like a mix between, I'm going to hash this up, but the texture of mozzarella string cheese, Alaskan king crabs, and blue crab. Very sweet fish. Highly recommended. You hungry? We got one more park and then we're busting out of Anchorage. Where are we going to next? We're going to Elderberry Park next, and then after that a place called Ship Creek. Apparently you can see some salmon there. All right, we're about to experience Elderberry Park out of the roof of the sunroof. It's a playground and there's a lot of orange fencing, but I'm going to show it to you anyway, because this is a discount tour. Feeling rather silly today. So I'm wandering around this, kind of jetting in and out of the little roads that go down by the water here. And I guess this is coming from someone in Florida. I mean, I get why you would want to be by the ocean there. But I'm kind of looking here and wondering why some of these homes, there's a lot of really cool homes here actually, now that I'm around in this corner, with beautiful bay windows that, again, you don't know a city until you really spend some time wandering around a city or driving around. Again, my point being, why would want to be by this water? It's kind of, it's not Florida, and the reality is of course it's not Florida. It's just a different sea feeling, you know? And all you have to do, you don't have to go in the water, because it's not really a beach you're going to want to go in. It's really mucky. Of course, I haven't been down there. It looks sandy. Again, this was an area that was affected by earthquakes before, or close to the area that was. Look at this here. I'm on Bootlegger Cove. The architecture here is so unique. I mean, not a complete cohesive unique. I mean, there are a lot of different styles here. Makes it interesting for a drive, for sure. It's a big tree house. Big enough to have a permit. People probably see me taking pictures and think, who the hell is this clown? Here's what I was trying to say. All you have to do is stop, turn the car off, and listen. And smell the ocean, smell the breeze, smell the sea, you know? And that's the answer. That's why people want to live by the water. It doesn't have to be a beach with waves. Oh my God. And then you have this. That's their view. They got some windows facing the ocean, some facing the mountains. That's my view straight ahead of me. Again, sometimes you just have to spend some time somewhere to start to understand it. I can't imagine what it's like here in the middle of the winter though. I just found a convenient little market here. I think it's high time I stock up on some road food supplies. Could be doing a little bit of driving today. But just thinking on my way here, for somebody who is very interested in others, as I learn a little bit more about the country, you know, I ask strangers questions a lot. Again, someday I want to have some video footage of that, put together a short series, but something to consider when you're asking questions is the phrasing of the question. For instance, this question would probably get some positive response. I could say, you know, geez, I'm from South Florida, and although the weather seems to be pretty bearable now, I can only imagine that the winter months are somewhat challenging for you to live here, possibly. Can you expand on that a little bit? That would get one response. The second one that would offer a completely different response would be, good Lord, what possesses you to live here in the winter? Oh, that was worth it for sure. Now I get some snacks, get a little soup. Energy for the road. Picked up a couple more pamphlets. Some flight tours and different things too. That's really to get to the edge of the glacier is a must, and also to get to this bear area. But I must say that so far this trip has been relatively bearless. Let's go see some salmon.
Quarter mile, turn right into the parking lot.
And I think we're right around the corner from the salmon. I hope there's salmon here. But this is going to be a disappointment to all of us. I have a hard time processing this sometimes, you know? I mean, over a couple of blocks from where I'm staying is an area that is a fine line, or a gray area, maybe a slippery slope, if you would, between RV life and living in a really rundown trailer park, or RV park, if you would. There's RVs that, you know, when they're brand new and they're well maintained and they're being used by individuals or families that are out there doing it because they want to do it as a sport or whatever, see the world, see a different part of the country. That's one thing, but when you're kind of forced to live there, it takes on a whole new feeling. My view right now, okay, behind me, down by the water, behind me is a Wingate. I'll just show you here. It looks like a Wingate Hotel. I didn't even know that was here. Mountains, beautiful mountains in the background back there. I'm underneath a bridge right here. I mean, there's this immense beauty all around me here. And there's a Hilton there on the hillside. There is some circus where you have carnival rides. Kids will be enjoying themselves. But just down the grassy hill between the train tracks that take people on this excursion down the Seward Highway is this encampment, this area of tents that people are living in. But I think it bothers me more because I know how cold it's going to get here. I mean, I don't know how cold it's going to be, actually. Let's just Google that. What is the average temperature in Anchorage in January and February? It's between 11 degrees and 23 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm speechless, because it's one thing if you have on 7 layers from REI and you're hiking intentionally. You're going up to Mount Everest or something. But I don't think these people are here because they want to be here. For whatever reason, they are here. And I know it's a very complicated topic to even discuss or to kind of comprehend. Again, I saw it in Portland, and I can't say I'm not hurt every time I see it, you know. That's it. I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't see these salmon, but we're going to go look for them now. My mood has completely changed as I rounded the corner, because when you see a bunch of tents together and people kind of like just hanging in there trying to survive, it really puts a different perspective on what the fuck you're doing all day. What am I doing? So that's probably something I should have done, actually, driving myself around here. I heard about these little bus tours. I think we're at the beginning of the summer season, pre-season. I'm in shoulder season, if you would. Wandering about by myself in my car. That probably would have been a funner way to do it with other people. Although I'm not much of a tour person myself. I kind of like to go off on my own. So we are now approaching this bridge. And I can almost guarantee, with a good stack of fish, that we're not going to see any salmon. It looks like really, really low tide. It's a restaurant over there that overlooks this. You can rent fishing stuff. You can actually clean fish here, apparently. Apparently you can fish from here. There's no one fishing. And, yeah, again, what exactly are we looking at, Mike? By the way, this isn't necessarily an Alaska thing, but it's like $11 for these grapes. What the hell's going on? You know, the real irony in all of this, or the strangeness in all of this, I somewhat romanticize this concept of the nomad, the nomadic lifestyle. Watched the movie Nomad World. The book was great. I mean, I read the book and I was like, wow, this, yeah, I can't wait to see the movie. This sounds like a cool thing. But the movie, it told a different story, man. It was like she wasn't traveling because she wanted to. It was pretty sad. I think music has a lot to do with that, and color and tone and timing and pacing. And I mean, I guess this is their home, you know? They're not wandering. Gosh, I would love to interview some of these people again. I don't have any solutions. I'm just curious as to what happens for them to get to that point. You know, it can be an enjoyable experience living in a tent when you're camping and roughing it and doing that kind of stuff, but to have it be mandated as your lifestyle or your only way to survive, I just feel for them. First of all, they're not going to be able to afford these grapes. $11 a bag. All right, we're going off to some other scenic area, and I'm gonna change my mood here. That's it. Let's hit the road. You know, I know it's expensive because I was looking at rooms down here. It just, again, I saw it firsthand. You had the Hilton right there, kind of right in the corner with its picture windows of the views of the mountains on one side and the water on the other. And so it was like Hilton, and then the Carnival, and then the mountains and the fish place. But between the mountains and the fish place and the Carnival were all these tents. And I'm telling you, it's $500 a night hotel to those who could never afford to stay in that hotel. It's just that I know I'm not going to solve the world's problems with these thoughts. They're just thoughts, they're just observations, and I know that there are plenty of parts of the world that have worse conditions, many places, but it just seems strange right there, you know. So, bear spray. I have so many questions. At what point do you actually use the bear spray? Do you refrain from using it? What's in it? What is it, like pepper spray? Does it really do anything? Again, at what point do you actually take that can out and say, it's time to spray the bear? Also, I wonder how many bears have been sprayed multiple times. And I can kind of see him tossing his paw up in the air going, again with the spray? Come on! So you're probably wondering and anticipating some updates on the bear spray. So I just talked to this knowledgeable girl in the nature center. Kind of asked her my questions in my comedic style, I guess. Well, in my ignorant style, to be honest with you. Yeah, it can be a deterrent. Sure, it works. They sell it. They don't sell it here. One of the downsides on the bear spray is if used, like excessively, I guess, it ends up leaving a scent on the trail that then ultimately, eventually attracts bears. That's one thing to consider. On a breezy and windy day, it can actually kind of backfire, if you would. It could affect you. So that would not be good. Heading down to an area called the Beaver Deck. And there's a beaver deck and the salmon deck. Taking it a little easy today. So the real thing is, you got to remember, and this is she says this with all bears. I've heard different. That you're supposed to make yourself loud and proud, and scare them off. Don't run. Pretty much with any bear. I think there were some bears you were supposed to cower. Wasn't it the grizzly? I don't know. Don't take my word for any of this, because I couldn't know any less. But I do know that I'm looking for bears. Not that I want to find one. I just don't want to be a part of his day. I didn't know much about this place. I thought it was a nature, like I thought they had animals here, you know. I think that's what the other, oh my God, this view. What is going on here? I don't know. Well, let me just show you what I'm looking at here. Look at that. I think I found my house. Right there. Yeah, joke about all that. It's kind of a defense mechanism, really.
I'm petrified of seeing a bear on the trail. They say you should travel in groups. I don't. I'm here by myself. They also say if you're by yourself, to make noise, whistle, whatever. I saw a bear once on the trail in Sequoia National Park. Yosemite, I think it was Sequoia. He looked at me like, "What are you doing here?" And scampered off. I do have one more question to ask the girl in the nature center, and that is, I don't see many houses up here, except for that one I zoomed in on. And there's another one that they're building over here. I hear all the noise and the hammering going on. By the way, the guy's got like 6 huge square picture windows with this beautiful view of these mountains. Well, my question is, why aren't there more homes over here? Maybe it's just real expensive to build out here. Maybe it's protected and they're finally letting building going on. I have no idea. I'll let you know what I find out. All right, so the short answer is, or the answer is, there are homes there. I just didn't see them. They kind of nestle themselves into the woods a lot. I don't see anything. It's complete wilderness on the other side of the river there. Didn't see any salmon. Didn't see any beavers, but I saw a beaver dam, and I didn't see any bears. I saw one robin, a bird. Alrighty, folks, we're going to go out and we're going to brave the wind. I'm at a place called, I don't know what it is. We're going to go look at the sign. Let's go check this out. Turnagain Arm. That's what this is. So, this is what we got. Check this out. And again, if it's too windy, I'm going to come in with a voiceover and throw some music at this. But check this out. It's going from there. Again, it's a wide-angle lens on this thing, so I'm not really sure how good it looks. Well, I could see how it looked, but and all the way up there, and then behind me is all of this. I'm heading down to this wildlife refuge. Look how fast the water's coming in, by the way. The tide's coming in from the right. You can see it flying in. I don't know how high it goes, but it's one hell of a tidal difference. Down here earlier, and this was like all sand. Ooh, it's toasty in here. Woo! Sometimes you just gotta stop the car and get out. Even if it's not at an official pull-off place, you know? I'd say Alaska's like no place I've ever been. I mean, I could say it's like Switzerland, or it's like Iceland, or it's like parts of the north I've been to, but it's really none of the above. And I hit the sun's shoulder season too, which means it's not really that crowded, which is really cool. Apparently I was recording for about 10 minutes, and then I just realized I wasn't recording. I was just basically saying that wildlife thing, the name of it was, hold on, Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. Thank God it's an electric fence. Look at him, he's right here. Everybody's running now behind me. Again, the bear blew me away. I wasn't expecting to be that moved. I wasn't expecting to be that close to the bear. He just went by that electric fence, cruising on by like
like I wasn't even there. And it makes you wonder what would happen if I saw one in the wild. There isn't any amount of bear spray that would have made me feel any superior or even close to on par with that bear. It was truly a sight, and a respectful feeling that I had. That again, it's an animal I never want to run into in a dark alley. Let's just put it that way. We have some light, I think, that's still going to be happening till 11 tonight. I'm not sure what else I'm going to see or what I'm going to go to. I pretty much checked everything off the list. I want to try to get some laundry done. Going to have to get a bite to eat and really plan my day for tomorrow. Heading up to Denali. I've got a room up there for a couple of nights. And then after that, I got the 6-hour drive from Denali down to Seward, which I'll be taking the same route again. I love this drive, this Seward Highway. Seward. It's gorgeous. Yeah, it's been an interesting day, seeing some wildlife, so that's what makes Alaska special, at least it does for me. Anyway, gotta hit the road now. Hopefully we'll see something interesting along the way. So I passed this waterfall up like twice. Finally had to make a U-turn. Bit of time exposure. F22, about a quarter of a second. A really low ISO, and framed it up. Basic waterfall action. Didn't need an ND or nothing. So here's what that one looks like. I don't think I could have found a better place to end my Anchorage section of this trip any more than this place that I found. I mean, I didn't invent it. It's a viewpoint, and I can't wait to show you the view from up here. I'm just like speechless. Probably because it's cold. Down here is the airport. This is Anchorage. Down there is the city, the airport. So look at all this. And then this. I don't know the names of any of these mountains or ridges, but I'm on the top of the world here. And then over here, so this, I'm standing on a compass here. This would be due north, and then east and south. You could see there's some homes up here. Beautiful view they have. I mean, could I live up here? It is cold. It's in May, so I would imagine the winters are pretty tough. But I mean, so the Seward Highway would be down that way. Oh my God, I'm speechless. Look at this view, would you? And then I'm heading up this way tomorrow to Denali. I can't take any photos to give this any justice. I'll try to snap a couple. But what an amazing view, and what an amazing end to today. And this little, like I said, this little Anchorage section of this trip. This was an amazing, I keep saying amazing. This was a really good, I'm glad I didn't leave Alaska till later. This really supercharged me, I think. Supercharged my need to travel and my need to see more things. I'm speechless, probably because of this sheer beauty, but it could be the coldness and the thin air.
Look at that. All right, it's been 5 minutes of me saying wow and amazing. So I don't know what else I can do to top this vlog off. So I guess we'll probably sign out for now. Some housekeeping things to do later. And yeah, more to come. More to come from Alaska. Thanks for joining me in Anchorage. As always, more on all this later.